Hey everyone, welcome to Unique Ways with Thomas Gerard, an audio podcast. Got a really great guest on today. He has 24 design patents, six featured mobile apps, six design books in three languages, including UX for AI, a framework for designing AI-driven products, and hundreds of millions in design ROI. Please join me in welcoming Greg Nudelman. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Are you ready for 20 questions?
I am. Let's play 20 questions.
Great. Question one. Tell me a little bit more about yourself. What do you do?
I do UX for AI design, and I try to make AI more accessible and more usable, and also try to really engage UX designers in this process because I feel like it's too important. AI is just too important to be left to data scientists and AI engineers, and we need to bring that human aspect to the equation. And that is a big part of what I do in day to day. And that's my passion to really bring the humanity back to this equation because I feel it's an incredible opportunity, but we need to be present for it and ready. And most people are not.
Great. And a quick note for the audience, if you guys are interested in the big 2025 episodes, please check out our episode with Kareem Rashid. Question two, what's a key piece of knowledge that makes you different?
I'd say being a full stack developer and DBA in the past is really been very helpful because I feel like this is the perfect time to have that kind of hybrid background to understand what the computer can and cannot do and the right way to architect something. And it it's not that you know the knowledge, if you will, a priori, but you can ask the right question. And I feel like that is the superpower that UX designers like myself bring to the table, which is we can ask the right question. And I would say that is my superpower is asking the right question. So that based on the knowledge that I've got from doing 35 projects with AI and being a full stack developer and really focusing on UX for the last 20 plus years.
Great. Question three, why this of all things? Why do you do what you do?
Wow, that's a good question. I feel like technology disempowers a lot of people, and I saw that, for example, with my father. He has been a cabinet maker and a carpenter for his entire life. So you could say I'm the son of a Jewish carpenter, if you can come back to that. To that, interesting reference there. I think some people can probably get what I'm getting at. But the point I'm trying to make is that when I saw him try to use technology and his callous big hands that have been providing me with amazing, wonderful life and learning through all my youth, and he tried to use the mouse and he just couldn't click the right button. He's just so clunky and his hands were so callous from years of work. He just couldn't do it. And I think at that moment what was born in me is this desire to empower all sorts of people to be their best self through the use of technology that is not just there for only for the chosen few, for the Eloi, if you will, get my H.G. Wells reference, but for really for everyone. And I believe it now has the potential to make everyone into their own version of Iron Man. And it's like Jarvis, basically. It's like that incredible suit of armor. I think Iron Man is really kind of the model for this, for the modern person, if you will, and modern empowerment, because he doesn't really have any superpowers, but he is empowered through the use of technology. And that is the feeling that I've been trying to bring into the world now for over 20 years. That feeling that I got watching my dad struggle with, basic tech and then making sure people aren't struggling the same way.
Great. Question four, some people struggle with, and it is, what does your future look like?
Well, I think actually I'm not going to be the one struggling with it too much, to be honest. I feel like I have a pretty clear vision. I think we are about to see the birth of AGI. All those billions of dollars, $500 billion dollars is is a huge investment. This is about I don't remember, maybe 12 times the amount of money they spent on Manhattan Project. So I think AGI is going to be here, whether it's in the next 4 years or sooner, or may take a little longer. But I feel like there's going to be some very uh, important Rubicons that we're going to be crossing in the next year or two with AI. And I want to be right there where this stuff is being developed. I have never been more excited, honestly, about the future that is available. But the part that generates the most excitement in me is this ability to take what is a UX problem and then create a AI-driven prototype that actually runs live code with AI and then, test that with customers. So that loop of design, or rather envision, plan, build, test with customers, is extremely powerful. And I don't think, you know, people really understand just how powerful it is, but I can see that, and that's what I really want to get into, and that's what I want to get into doing. And so I feel like that necessitates a slight transition. Wouldn't say transition from UX, but a kind of a branching out, if you will, into more vibe coding and more, actually code driven POCs. And I feel like that is where I want to go next. So, uh, I'm very, very fortunate to be where I am right now and being able to experiment with all this stuff and try things out. But it's also bringing incredible amount of value to the company and incredible amount of value to the field. So I'm hoping to build a community around that movement and be part of that. And really, again, it's so, so important for us to get involved because if we're not involved at this level, by the time we're going to have AGI or something like that, it's going to be too late. And we need to have the ability to input our voices, our knowledge, our understanding and empathy of people into this uh, God from the machine, this Deus ex machina that's being born. And I feel both excitement and, at the same time trepidation, but I feel like there's enough people that are doing what I do. So I want to build a community around that, and community of people that do this, and connect with them and learn from each other, because this is really the time of the most rapid learning, development, and value creation that has ever been seen in the history of humanity. I'm not even exaggerating. Maybe since the time of the fire, maybe. So this is like Prometheus being born, if you will, and we literally are about to create a new god, whether we like it or not. It's happening. It's on. So, let's be part of that, and I'm excited and um, want to be part of that.
Great. Five we say is unique to this show. The question is, let's talk about location. How does the notion of place play into what you do?
I've been extraordinarily fortunate to be in California right now. I'm originally from Ukraine, and as an immigrant, it's it's the best place to be right now is in California, in the US at least. It's politically shifting a bit, but California is is staying where I feel like we need to be. And Sorry to get political on you here, but it's again very fortunate to be in a place that is very open to very risky, very ambitious investments with very high returns and people that really are here in Silicon Valley. I think they have the vision and the capability to pull off some of these incredible projects, while at the same time there's also a certain arrogance and a certain lack of consideration for basic humanity that comes from this kind of a focus on doing before even asking, is this a good idea? Sort of a Jurassic Park question, if you will. So that plays a huge part into my worldview and kind of what I choose to do because I'm seeing a lot of projects being led by technology instead of being led by humanity and being really are done outside of consideration for a global village. For example, a lot of this stuff, just obvious examples like deep fakes and so on that are born out of the tools that are created here, maybe not with this intention, but unintentionally they're bringing into the world incredible confusion and incredible, just uh, a disempowerment, if you will, of people because attention is an extremely valuable commodity, and we seem to be squandering it for stuff that is not just unhelpful, but outright malicious and is actually decreasing our capabilities as humanity. And I feel it is really, really important again for designers to get involved and for UX people of all kinds, researchers, designers, planners, and folks that really understand what is happening to get involved. But I can see that because of at the place where I am, because I'm in Silicon Valley. I attend a lot of these events and I can see what is happening. And the trend that is trending is oftentimes not great. And there's not like due consideration that's given to it. But at the same time, I'm also seeing I'm doing a lot of mentorship for folks that are outside of US. I travel widely and I see a lot of other places struggle perhaps with a different part, with different regulations, for example, like GDPR and in Europe. And all AI needs to be explained. All AI models need to be explainable, which is kind of a really not a very informed worldview. Perhaps their intention was great, but and very noble, but in reality, what this does is really affected negatively. So again, because I'm in Silicon Valley, where the birthplace of all this stuff is, and at the same time, I'm involved with a lot of international consulting and travel and presenting at a lot of these conferences. I am seeing how different parts of the world are looking at this new opportunity and what they're doing with it. And I don't know if I'm liking what I'm seeing necessarily, but it is what it is. The world is always going to be turning, and it may not have us in it uh, in a couple of years, but who knows what exactly will happen. But I feel very, very fortunate to be where I am, and the place where I'm at and the places where I can travel allow me this worldview that I am hoping to bring in to larger focus for a lot of my audience through podcasts like this and my own website ux4ai.com and the books that I'm putting out like the UX4AI book that is that just came out, right, and really giving people functional frameworks, low fidelity, simple ways to approach these very complex problems that bring them down to the human level. So rather than feeling overwhelmed, people can then get excited about the opportunity and the possibility and go from there and have that at their fingertips as a useful technique and a tool in the tool belt to try to understand the world and their evolving place in it, and a world that's increasingly dominated by AI. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's what I got for you.
Oh, that sounds great. So number six, you're starting from the beginning. What advice do you give your former younger self?
Wow. I'd say to focus less on people you don't like. It's e- as I think as a designer, we often, and I know I'm very much guilty of that. We look for we we train ourselves and to see incongruencies and to see problems and to see lack, and and I think that makes us often blind to the possibility uh, instead of that, and we instead of focusing on things that can move us forward and empower us and bring us to fruition, if you will, as humans, as professionals, we tend to focus on things that we don't like, things that got in the way, things like, wow, I wish I could just change this person's mind, or God, this guy is so irritating. Like that's kind of what I would say, give my younger self that advice. Just get into meditation. I'm a big fan of Sudashi Kriya Yoga. That's a kind of a breathing, industrial strength breathing exercises that are even proven to help, for example, with anxiety, drug-resistant depression, even PTSD. So it's an extremely powerful breathing technique that I highly recommend that your audience looks up. It's Sudarshan Kriya Yoga. So just Google it. There are some free courses out there, simple techniques. Uh, it helps if you have a coach guide you through it a couple of times, and then you can kind of do it yourself. But I wish I discovered that, because that gets you centered. It gets you out of your head and stops the chuttering monkeys in your brain and really goes, what's important now? Like that simple question, what's important now, is something I wish I trained myself as a younger man to really focus on. And I feel like that's actually, I'm not alone in this. I can see a lot of young men struggle with, life purpose and their place in the world, right? So that's that I'm well understood, or rather, not well understood. It's a well-known problem that is not at all understood. I think even by the least of all by the people themselves that are in it. So that would be the advice that I would give myself is get into meditation early, focus on things that you want rather than things that irritate you, and um, and really practice that. Like it's not enough to just know about this technique. It's important to practice that daily, and that is going to really change your life. If I could go back 20 years, that would be nice. Oh, that and invest in Bitcoin back in the day. I think it's too late now, but if I could go back in time, say take every spare penny, put it in Bitcoin, but sell it now because I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. So don't invest in Bitcoin now, please. That don't take that as a. I honestly will say I have $0 in it. I'm just remarking on the incredible rise of that, and wish my younger self had taken the opportunity to do it. And but again, not as of today, I would not recommend it. I could
Great.
be wrong. Yeah, that's my
Great.
2 cents for you.
So number seven, what's a day in your life like?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Well, let's see. I roll out of bed, I play video games all day, and then I get on the podcast. No, just kidding. Actually, I get to do a lot of really cool stuff. I got to do some storyboarding this morning with my work at Sumo for a brand new AI project. Then I did some vibe coding and rag wrangling to create a POC that we can show to the customers. Again, can't really talk about the project, but that's sort of a typical day. And when the evening rolls around, I go have a workout. I love to do the weights and mobility exercises. I love um, Leo moves. It's kind of the sort of an animal flow slash capoeira slash yoga stuff, basically enhancing mobility and moving your body in all different planes of motion. It's uh, it's really fun to do, and it keeps your workouts fresh. And don't forget the weights, though. That's important. I love riding my bike, so I do a lot of bike riding, kind of longer distances. Helps me meditate and clear my mind. It's super amazing. I don't have a motor on the bike, but if you don't like biking, but don't like the work, but want to do the biking, that's really cool. Put a motor on it, or just get some with a motor. It's like giving you wings. It's unbelievable feeling. I still feel like a 13-year-old kid riding my bike. It is so cool. I love it. So I hope that never stops. So go on a bike ride, go on a walk in nature with my dog. Love seeing his excitement in that. That's again keeps things very fresh and keeps it grounded. You're spending all your day talking to robots and in digital realms. It is a it's sometimes extremely soothing to actually see real nature and see the birds and feel the grass under your feet and so on. So very, very cool. And then I meditate at night, and before I sleep, that helps sleep quality. And wake up, do it all over again. I like to travel, so uh, I love being invited to conferences. If you're considering me as a speaker, I'd love to hear from you. I'm a sucker for free travel, so I look me up. I, I love teaching UX for agentic AI. That's the new workshop I just developed. So excited! I'm gonna I'm gonna get to go to Japan and teach it at UX Tokyo soon, and also at the Agentic conference in Arlington, Virginia. That's October, November. So lots of opportunities there to travel, and I love that. I love seeing new places, meeting new faces. It's always a treat to do that. That's really key. And if I could give one sort of, I know you didn't ask me that question, but if I could give one advice to my younger self again, go back to that, is to keep writing things. I've already been doing that for a while, but if you write down your goals, if you write down what you want, somehow putting that up on your wall and pinning that in some place you can see actually creates an incredible amount of momentum and sort of like a latent drive and I don't know if universal attraction, if you will. I don't know if I necessarily believe it, but I don't disbelieve it. It's more about your ability to set intention is really, really key to your achieving stuff. And pretty much everything I wrote down has come to pass. And I've been extraordinarily fortunate to have all these opportunities come my way. It is definitely a lot of hard work, but this is a nice problem to have, right? Who wants life without hard work? This is unseemly, if you will, to have all the benefits of our wonderful civilization and not put anything in. That just doesn't seem right. But if you are going to do the work, you might as well have it be something that means something to you. So that's what I mean. Write this down, put it up on your wall, and just watch it actually happen. So one of the things I wrote down is I wanted to travel a lot, and that's has fortunately come to pass. It has been an incredible life and such a treat to be able to do this. I feel extremely fortunate and blessed.
Great. Eight you spoke a bit about, but it's about lifelong learning. It's a popular topic. How do you stay up to date?
Wow. Well, how do you not stay up to date? It's there's so much to learn. I would say I talk to the robots all the time, right? I ask what else should I know? One of the one of my favorite prompts to do is to go, hey, based on the conversation, especially ChatGPT can do that. Claude, unfortunately, just it's like an ostrich, right? It doesn't know you from Adam. Every conversation is new. But ChatGPT actually tracks everything you tell it. So one of the things you can play with is you can go back and say, hey, based on the stuff I've been asking, what am I missing? What what should I be learning that I'm not learning? And you will be so surprised to see what it comes back with. I guarantee you, it is really eye-opening. And yeah, that's what I do quite a bit. So every few months I go back and go, hey, what should I be doing that I'm not doing? And where my blind spots are. And one of the things that recently suggested that blew my mind, it said, hey, you're perfectionizing everything. Your draft is like most people's like finished product. And so you should create a draft, give it to me, and I'll finish it for you, and then you tweak it, and that should be good enough for most things. So I've done that, and it has literally revolutionized the way that I spend time. And I can't emphasize it enough. So absolutely lifelong learning and use these incredible AI tools that are free or nearly free to help you see the stuff you can't see. I'm also highly uh, uh, I would say complimentary of coaching. So I provide coaching services myself to, again, very few folks because I work full time. I mainly do coaching on weekends. So there's not a lot of slots available. I'm about to start a new cohort. So call me up if you're interested in the coaching for career transitions or whatnot. But I'm also a huge fan of coaches, and I feel like the coaches that I've had have had an incredible impact on my life learning, and so that's why I try to become a coach in turn and give that back to the community in the same way, give some of that energy back and some of that gift that I've been given. So I highly recommend getting a coach. And by that I mean a human coach that can talk to you and feel, have that empathy and have that, very human exchange to complement your AI learning and AI explorations. And then lastly, just be curious. Like, hey, you're seeing something and you go, I wonder what that means. And guess what? You have, again, free or nearly free tools that will do deep research on a particular topic that is of interest to you. And it can be a very fleeting interest, and it will create an incredibly detailed report specifically for your narrow whatever definition of a problem, or as narrow or as broad as you like. But one of the things I'm very curious about is the word etymology. And where do the words come from? The words that sound like the action that they're doing, like clap, for example, or croak, right? Those actually sound like the action that you're doing, right? Like clap is actually sound like clapping and so forth. So I'm fascinated with this topic, and I do a ton of deep searches with ChatGPT, Claude, and Perplexity, on those topics. And it's endless fascination to me how much data is already out there that for me to learn. But pick something to get curious about and get really good about it. Like get deep, as deep as you like, and you have this incredible tool now that does all the work for you. All you got to do is read the report and then ask any follow-up questions or pick from pick from a list that it will give you. Just say, hey, what other questions should I not asking? So you can keep going. It's a really amazing time to learn. So just pick whatever strikes your fancy, like how do birds fly, or you know why is this road so full of pebbles, right? Or why does you know how do vaccines work, and really figure it out. It's it's incredible opportunity right now to learn, and unprecedented, I would say, unprecedented opportunity for learning and then contributing. So take advantage of it.
Great. Number nine, tools. Can you talk about your use of digital and or analog tools?
I love sticky notes. I think that is the greatest invention since, I don't know, ever. Since fire, I guess. Yeah, I'm kidding. But seriously, use a lot of low fidelity stuff. I do tons and tons of sketching. My pencil rarely leaves my hand. I have tons of notebooks, and I love dotted notebooks. I love sticky notes of all kinds. I'm 3M has made a fortune on me, I suppose. Uh, it's when I go, for example, on a trip or whatever, I often will not take my computer. I'll take my phone and I'll take a pack of sticky notes and a pencil. So I definitely highly recommend that. And on the other hand, also use AI, but don't forget that low fidelity connection, because that there's a lot to be said of thinking with your hand, essentially. That's what drawing is. It's thinking out loud. It's that mind mind drawing collection connection that is impossible to replicate with a computer. It's it's something so primal. It just really connects you to your history, your humanity, to the world at large. When you draw, even the goofy drawings that I do, something happens and your mind can open up to possibilities and think in all these parallel ways that no amount of AI will ever replicate. So don't forget that part. So that's what I tend to do. I tend to just eliminate the middle portion. So I use a lot of AI and a lot of sketching, and I try to get out of the kind of the middle part. And the other part is, pick up a craft. I think it's amazing. You can do leather crafts. You can do. I love woodworking, for example. So, a lot of the tools I use are chisel and hammer and a saw and so forth, and leather punch and things like that. So even if it's a really ugly pouch or something you can make for yourself, whatever strikes your fancy, you should really get into it. And I think physicality is so important, and we miss that by being digital all day. It's and making stuff with our hands is what the original definition of design used to be, and we need to go back to that. Like really be connected with reality. Hope
Great.
that makes sense.
Yeah. Halfway number 10. How do you deal with work life or life work balance?
Oh gosh, what is that even? Uh, I don't know if I deal with that necessarily. I don't really put up boundaries. I if I but what I do is I tend to recognize when the problem is something that I don't need to solve right now. So I tend to be, I've got better about it over the years, to where I do a quick sketch, I get the entire thing out, whether it's sticky notes or maybe a draft or an outline of something that I need to work on, or a bunch of paper wireframes, and then I just go on a walk. I get out of my head. I go and I do something different. I shift tasks, and by the time I come back a day later or a few hours later, I have much better understanding of the problem, things that I'm missing, etc. But it's important to get that first draft out. But that's what I would say the balance would be is this kind of ability to stop yourself from going too deeply when you see diminishing results. That would be my definition of balance. But I don't think I draw strict boundaries between my life and my work. I feel it's one and the same and both, and I do have scheduled activities where I see people. Like I go play D&D, for example, on Sunday with a random group of a bunch of nerds, and it is just pretty awesome. But we talk about AI during breaks when we're not playing orcs and rogues and so forth. So I feel like that's again, I think it's a reflection of life in California, perhaps, but everything revolves around technology. Everything has technology in it that we do. So it doesn't necessarily need to be removed, but taking the time, being in nature, and when you're stuck or when you need a break, recognizing that is really, really important.
Mm.
So yeah, do that. That's what I would define it. So
Great. And if you weren't doing what you do now, what might you be doing?
uh, easy, I'd be a cabinet maker like my dad. I think I love the feel of wood and the smell of wood shavings. I love making things that people use, tangible things, tangible furniture they can put their butt on, or or, cut like a cutting board that they can just use to cut their vegetables and whatnot. I think that's idea of building things and bringing things into the world is really central. So that's what I would be doing.
And what would you not like to do with your career?
Oh my gosh. Well, I used to be a DBA and a developer and so forth, so I would not want to go back to doing just that. I feel like executing the spec is kind of a dying art, and that's what a lot of like just because you know how to do it, you don't necessarily want to do it. I also hate cleaning. I'm not a fan of that. I mean, once in a while, yeah, don't get me wrong, I like to organize things, but like just be a professional uh, janitor that doesn't strike me as necessarily the worst thing, but also not the best thing. And then a professional athlete, man, like that seems like really just the most boring, mundane thing. Like just to play the same game over and over again. Oh my God, are you gotta be kidding me? Get me out of here, right? Like to be, especially like putting your life on the line and life and limb. Uh, and yeah, the payoff is crazy, but there's more important things than money. And I find watching sports one of the most boring things that you can possibly imagine. I really, really have tough times. So being a professional athlete would be kind of my version of hell.
Great. And
Like,
13,
God, I have to throw the ball again. Oh my God. Lordy. Get me out of here.
nice. 13, what's your favorite word, quote, or sentence?
Oh man. I love Screw It, Let's Do It. That's from um, the Virgin Virgin CEO. That's pretty cool. Um, I love everything that Yoda said, pretty much anywhere. I think that's really cool. I like I said, I'm a total nerd. So I also really love a lot of Gandalf's sayings, like I come back to you now at the turn of the tide. Uh, that is such an amazing, poignant quote. Um, I think probably out of all, if I had to pick just one, that would be the quote that he says to Frodo. He says, "It is not for us to decide. All we can decide is what to do with the time that is given to us."
Mm, nice. How about a least favorite word, quote, or sentence?
Oh my gosh, I don't know if I have one. I know people really hate the word moist. I don't think it's bad. Uh, I think humid probably because like humid weather is like my least favorite type of thing. It's 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 kind of it's kind of bad. Like it's worse than moist to me. Like lots of think you can have moist cake, for example, or you know, so forth. Other nice things can be moist, but humid, I think, is kind of bad. Yeah, like humid, oppressive, if you will. Uh, I also am not a fan of fascist, so I think it's been sort of got a lot of misuse out of it. But as a Jewish person, when somebody says that, I feel like a visceral reaction because my grandfather was actually fighting fascists and uh, back in the Battle of Odessa, and he was a major in the Soviet Army back in World War II. So he actually fought fascists. So when I hear somebody labeled as a fascist, it's like a visceral reaction of like, wait, what's happening here?
Mm.
So I think it's been way overused on both sides. There's a very specific definition, and it's worth looking up.
Great. You're choosing one word to describe yourself. What word do you choose?
Creative.
What keeps you up at night?
Well, gosh, politics mostly, U.S. politics.
Final stretch here. What's a dream you're chasing?
What's a dream I'm chasing? Impact, contribution. I think my biggest fear is to um, be a mediocrity, honestly, and what I'm chasing is a dream of matter, being actually mattering, um, being leaving behind something that's wasn't there before.
Great. And 18, what inspires you?
Uh, wow, a lot of things inspire me. I think lately it's been love and empathy and being able to forgive and having grace and having the humanity to see your own imperfections is what is probably the most inspiring because I think it's one of the hardest things in this age of AI dominated stuff.
Great. And last couple here, number 19. Any advice you'd like to share?
Yes, learn AI, use it every day. It's there for you. It's this will never happen again. This is the absolute most incredible time. Make something fun with it. Use it. It's this is the time to put the pedal to the metal. If you've ever waiting for a permission or a starting gun to start running, consider this is it. This is your starting gun. Go do something. If you're not sure what to do, just ask ChatGPT about all the world's problems. Go tackle poverty. Go tackle global warming. Go tackle deep fakes and um, defend freedom of speech. Defend your humanity. Defend your liberty. Pick something and go for it. Don't stop hesitating.
Great. And finally, number 20. How can our listeners keep tabs on you and what's our call to action?
Keep tabs on me through my LinkedIn profile or even better, ux4ai.com. I was super fortunate to grab that domain, ux4ai.com. Check it out. It's a blog. It's a lot of useful stuff on AI and UX, clearly. So yeah, uh, that would be that. And what was the second part?
Do you have a call to action for us?
Call to action. Yeah, yeah. Join my growing community at ux4ai.com. And if you have a question, drop me a line. I'm very accessible, and I try to be, I try to get to all the emails if I can. And if I didn't get back to you, please don't take it personally. But keep bugging me, and if you ask a good question, I will absolutely eventually get back to you. Uh, but yeah, ux4ai.com. Check it out.
Great. Thanks so much for joining. Was really excited to find your content and really glad to have you on today.
Thank you, Thomas. It's been a pleasure.